There's another thing going into a queer space and getting nothing but misgendered there. Like, that pisses me off so bad. I was at the gay bar last night. The gay bar is always the scene of the crime, okay?
Buckle up, folks, because it's time for another misgendering meltdown.
Pronoun of the day is slugs.
We're going to react to this and some other TikTok cringe in this bonus episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast, because you guys love it when I do this. You seem to love it when I subject myself to losing brain cells and wading through the delulu of the clock app, and that's a little sick, and I judge y'all for it. But hey, you enjoy it, I enjoy you enjoying it. It's a win-win, I guess. So we're going to go through some TikTok brain rot, including up first, a young female complaining about being misgendered at, of all places, the gay bar. Take a listen to this video, and warning, you will feel just profound sadness and sympathy for the trauma this young person endured. Take a listen.
It is one thing to get misgendered by like straight cis people, but it is another thing going into a queer space and getting nothing but misgendered there. Like, that pisses me off so bad. I was at the gay bar last night. The gay bar is always the scene of the crime, okay? And I'm in line waiting for the bathroom, and like there's stalls and there's urinals, right? And like anybody that's using the urinal, I just let them go in front of me, and then I'm waiting for a stall. And some guy comes out and he says something about the urinals, and he was like, "Oh, you're waiting for the stall?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." And he was like, "And that is a woman's right." What gave him the audacity to say that to me? Like, you are at the gay bar. You are at the queer bar. Why would you say that to me? And I'm just like, I gotta get back on T. I gotta do something. Maybe I gotta cut my hair. I've been so averse to cutting my hair. Maybe I gotta look a little bit more boyish. Maybe that's on me. Maybe I need to do some self-reflecting. But like...
Wow, I'm not sure how she'll ever recover from this horrifying event. In all seriousness, though, it's funny to me because at the end, she almost seems to get it, or I guess he, if this is allegedly a trans guy, but it's like, look, the dude was probably joking. He probably thought you were just a woman and there was a line for the women's room or something, so you were just waiting for the stall. It's not that deep. He certainly wasn't most likely trying to attack your trans identity or anything like that. But also, to some extent, you present completely like a female and don't seem to be making any effort at all. So are people supposed to be mind readers? They see someone who looks like a female, presents as a woman, isn't doing anything to seem male or masculine or indicate that they're transgender, and they're supposed to just ask your pronouns before a one-off comment they make in the bathroom to you? Like, this is just not realistic. It's like you're walking through the world seeking for ways to be victimized and then almost like fainting at taking accountability, but then of course not actually doing it and being like, hey, yeah, if I want to, like, guys don't care. This isn't the women's issue where stay out of women's spaces and there's that whole conversation. Guys do not care if a female wants to use the boys' bathroom. We simply do not. And if you want to be called a he or a bro, most of them won't care either. But like, they're not going to know that through mind reading. They're not going to know that through telepathy. You are going to have to tell them or make some effort to make it apparent. And if you don't, you're not a victim. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm out of sympathy. I'm out of tears for y'all at this point. You're not entitled to anything. And this constant desire to be a victim for like social media clout or whatever is not just grating and frustrating. It is really counterproductive. It's not going to make you happy. Constantly going through life like this, trying to be a victim, is a recipe for, honestly, I think, profound dissatisfaction in life. But then also it's just giving us all a bad rap, like this constant victimhood and this lack of resiliency and all of it. I'm sick of it, and I'm officially running out of sympathy for y'all at this point. But what do you guys think? Do you feel bad for the terrible experience this young person had at the gay bar in the men's bathroom? And maybe I'm just the heartless one. You'll let me know in the comments. And we've got so much more delusional TikTok content coming up after this. Have you guys seen those viral videos where they're telling an amazing story but have to put video game footage beneath it to keep people's attention? Yeah, well, thanks to TikTok, my brain is broken, and I sometimes find myself watching those. Social media has basically given us all ADHD, and that's why I keep today's sponsor, Fume, on my desk. Keep me stimulated without the brain rot. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device. No vapor, no nicotine, just natural flavor. It is not a vape, not an e-cigarette, just flavored air. But it fills the void that ditching a bad habit can leave, and you'll still have something satisfying to reach for. And it is built to fidget with. It has magnetic snaps, clips, and an adjustable airflow dial that sounds super satisfying when you twist it near a microphone. If you're like me, and you want ADHD relief without resorting to social media brain rot, then you'll love Fume. Go to tryfume.com/Brad Polumbo or scan the QR code on screen and use promo code Brad Polumbo. Get your free Fume topper when you order your journey pack today. You'll be glad you did. Up next, we've got another entry into the long-running debate. Is it gay to date a trans woman? Take a listen to this video.
I just want to remind you guys that if you are a man dating a trans woman, that does not make you gay, because trans women are women. Stay with me now. Trans women are women. They're actually some of the most incredible women that I know. And if you are dating a trans woman, you should feel lucky and maybe like worship the ground she walks on.
So I agree. Technically it's homosexual, but it's not super gay in that most gay men aren't interested in dating a trans woman because they present so feminine and imitate and emulate feminine characteristics. But it's also, we have to be so for real. It's not exactly 100% straight. It's okay to be a little bit on the bi spectrum, a little bit somewhere in between, just a tad, a little bit zesty. That is fine. And as long as everybody's consenting and it's all a positive experience, date whoever you want. If you're a man and you want to date a trans woman, power to both of you. But let's not say it's not at all gay. Like, okay, I don't want to give y'all an anatomy lesson, but it's not the straightest thing ever, okay? And when you all insist otherwise, the people on TikTok, kind of the alphabet crowd, they insist, no, it's completely heterosexual. And it's like, we all know that's not quite how this works, okay? It's a little different. And we all know why. I don't need to spell it out for y'all. We all know why. So stop. It's like fetch. It's never going to happen. People are never going to believe this. So give it a rest, okay? And just let people be whatever they want and stop obsessing over what label to put on it. Up next, try to keep up with this new definition of trans.
You can still identify as trans even if you don't medically transition, keep your birth name, have a non-binary identity, choose not to bind, tuck, or pack, aren't out. Trans just means your gender doesn't align with your assigned sex at birth.
Congrats. Trans means nothing now. It is utterly meaningless under this definition you just imagined. And therefore, really, if you accept that, has no particular claim to legitimacy or acceptance if it's just a meaningless concept that just how I feel inside. Suddenly, I feel like I no longer align with my sex observed at birth. I'm trans then. No. Like, there's an actual thing called gender dysphoria that a tiny percentage of the population experiences, and they have a unique path that often, for them as adults, the way to be happiest will be to live as if they're the other sex. But that's a real group of people. There's like a serious thing that you have to experience with characteristics in the DSM and other things in order to qualify. It is not just this choose your own adventure game of whatever internal spiritual nonsense that you can claim. And when you do this, when you push this, I don't know if you realize it or not, you're delegitimizing actual trans people. You're making them look like it's all just the new goth, when in fact it's a medical condition that a lot of them have really struggled with and should be accommodated and respected within reason. But instead you have posers like this going on the internet and trying to just completely tear off all the gatekeeping. And in doing so, they don't seem to realize, like, strip it of whatever legitimacy or claim to acceptance it actually had in the time before this modern era of TikTok and gender ideology. Other than that, great job. Guys, as we wade through the depths of Delulu on this website, TikTok, remember to check out the Your Delulu is Showing merch line. The products are linked in the description. My boyfriend worked really hard on it, and he loves seeing when you guys check out and you leave a note and you buy stuff and then you tell us how much you like it. We've gotten so much positive feedback on it. It's really great, and he appreciates it. He worked hard on it, so do check it out if you have a sec. Oh, and remember to check out my new weekly podcast, Citation Needed, where we dive deep, me and my friend Colin Wright, who's an evolutionary biologist, into the insane world of woke academia. You can subscribe on Substack or on any podcast platform, or watch the full episodes here on YouTube. That's Citation Needed, anywhere you get your podcasts. Up next, we've got another woke white woman showing us what a good ally she is, and accidentally making no sense at all. Take a listen to this interesting video.
For cis women to be truly free, trans women must be free. They must be celebrated, uplifted, supported, loved in society. Because what trans women do is very powerful. They take the ability to define what it means to be a woman away from men, and they give it to each individual woman so she can define for herself what it means to be a woman. There's a lot of power in being able to define a core aspect of your identity yourself instead of somebody else, another group of people, defining it for you. When men are the ones who get to define what it means to be a woman, they define us as baby makers, as incubators, and they use that definition to justify treating us as property, as inferior beings. They use it to justify taking away our rights and denying us our autonomy. And that is why there is so much transphobia, especially against trans women, because their existence threatens the power that men have over women.
Okay, who wants to tell her that it's actually the gender ideology side that is allowing men, or at least biological males, to decide what a woman is in this case? And I find this actually bizarre because it's never been men deciding what a woman is. It's been the dictionary. It's been science. It's just the fact that it exists as a concept. It's never been something that people just get to make up and define, and now different people just get to define it. No, sex exists as an objective fact in humans. There are only two sexes, and then gender is just an outgrowth of that basically, until very recently, was considered synonymous with your biological sex. Of course, I want trans women, trans men, all people really to be free. I support human freedom, so they should be able to freely live their lives however they want. But I do always cringe a little bit at the like, uplift, celebrate them. Like, normal people don't want to be uplifted or celebrated just because of a part of their identity. They just want to be treated like anyone else. And it's actually kind of cringe to like celebrate people for something that's, however you feel about it, it's not an accomplishment, right? Like, I don't want to be celebrated for being gay. I just want to be accepted and left alone. And I imagine a lot of trans people feel the same way about being trans. But this idea that under like the woke worldview, every woman gets to decide for herself what a woman is, then you realize that womanhood is therefore a meaningless concept. If it can mean anything, it also means nothing. So congrats. This is feminism now, erasing the definition of a woman. And it's so fascinating to hear this person argue that this is why we have so much transphobia right now, because it's sexism and misogyny. I actually do think there's a lot of transphobia out there, and I don't support hate or bigotry towards any group of people. I've seen some genuinely nasty stuff directed towards trans people over the last year or two, and I don't support it. I condemn it, and I try not to do that on my channel. I try to criticize people's ideas, but always leave space for people that are different and not personally attack or insult people. But here's the thing. The reason we have this uptick in transphobia is, at least in part, the trans activist community's own fault, right? They pushed so hard, they were so unreasonable about things like biological males and women's sports, about irreversible medical transition of minors, that it led to a societal backlash, which I warned it would. You can literally go back to my writings in like 2018 and see me warning that this is too extreme, this is unreasonable, this will lead to backlash. Well, that's what happened. And I'm not saying it's right. It's never right to hate a group of people or to be nasty towards people, but it is predictable, and there should be some accountability there for like what this community did to bring this about for itself. It's not because men are just super sexist against women now, and that's why they're transphobic or something. Other than those few tiny details, of course. Great video, I guess. This next video has a message for you pesky women who don't vote the correct way. Take a listen and be educated.
Sometimes I forget not all women are liberals, or not all women are against the current administration. And it's like, ooh, I don't like that.
Wow. It's almost like women are individuals who can think for themselves and have different opinions, and their perspective and their values and their worldview isn't dictated by their anatomy. Seriously? I have to explain that to you? Like, it's so funny because this is the feminist side, but they also seem to think that women's worldview should be dictated by the box they check on the census. You know that's not feminist, right? Not in any meaningful sense. You know, this is a reductionist, tokenizing view of women, right? It's all remarkable. It's so condescending. This is the kind of thing that it gets so much engagement and people just eat it up like seals, clapping like seals for this kind of thing online, especially on TikTok, but also on Instagram and the other platforms. And I can't stand it because there's just no intellectual humility. There's just no room for the idea that, like, hey, society is actually pretty complicated. And the issues that divide us are pretty tricky issues with really complicated substance to them that good people might come down on different sides of. So, of course, not all women are going to think a certain way. And it doesn't mean they're dumb or gross or terrible or traitors because they disagree with your infinite wisdom as some like 23-year-old TikTok girl. Like, give me a break, okay? Guys, I can't handle any more of these TikToks without rolling my eyes so hard I give myself a headache that I'll be stuck with for the rest of the day. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me. Hope you didn't suffer too much. Hope you got a kick out of it at least a little bit. So please do consider hitting that like button, subscribing if you haven't yet. Thank you again to Fume for sponsoring today's video, and we'll talk again real soon.